From the Tamil Heritage Trust, good evening and a warm welcome to all of you who have joined us today, both in person and online. I'm sure all of you are aware that we have gathered here today for a special event. It is Tamil Heritage Trust's annual event. We have all joined here to witness and participate in the presentation ceremony of the Tamil Heritage Trust's Professor S. Swaminathan Heritage Award 2024. Into its 5th year in running, this award has been greatly acknowledged as a commendable effort from THT to appreciate, encourage, and motivate early and impactful activity by an individual in the field of heritage studies, awareness, preservation, etc. In fact, the prime objective of this award is to honor and encourage continuous and sustained effort by an individual under the age of 50 years in the areas that involve deepening public awareness about heritage, widening the audience for heritage appreciation, and increasing and strengthening all our knowledge base about heritage sites, assets, resources, etc. Before we move on to the main event, I'd like to give you a brief introduction about Tamil Heritage Trust, which is our organization, especially for all those who've joined us today for the first time. For our regulars, I hope this will be like a reintroduction or a reinforcement of our ideologies and initiatives. Tamil Heritage Trust or Tamil Paramparya Arakattalai is a non-profit organization started almost 14 years back by a group of like-minded volunteers with the explicit objective of understanding, appreciating, disseminating and celebrating information related to the rich and unique heritage and history of India, not just for the scholarly and the erudite, but the enthusiastic general public. Towards this end, THT conducts many events and has several initiatives which are in action throughout the year, which largely include talks, seminars, conferences, workshops, etc. Our most popular event is the monthly Heritage Talks, which is conducted on the first Saturday of every month. This is an online event in English, and right now we not only have a pan-Indian presence, but a smattering of global audience as well. We are extremely proud that we have conducted this event without any interruption for almost 14 years now, merely moving the platform from in-person talks to online through and post-corona. Pechu Kacheri is another event of ours, which we can also refer to as an oratory concert, which is a series of orchestrated talks spread across 2 days, conducted in person in the month of December in Chennai, to collaborate and coincide with the Margazhi Isai Kacheris of Chennai. The Indology Festival is another event of ours, which is slightly more erudite and scholarly. Conducted in the month of June as an online event across 6 days, we have 10 to 12 subject experts and scholars who connect up through a common conference platform to discuss a subject from its various angles and perspectives. This year, our Indology Festival was titled Harappan Civilization, A Century of Discovery, and was meant to honor the century of the announcement of the discovery of the Harappan civilization to the world at large by John Marshall, the then director of ASI. At THT, we also conduct several workshops which not only disseminate knowledge but are actually fun activities. Anybody can participate, enroll, join and participate in them. We have one-day workshops which we call How to See a Museum, How to See a Temple, etc., which is conducted in 2 sessions. In the forenoon session, we have a series of lectures. In the afternoon, the participants are practically taken to a site where we elucidate about what was discussed earlier. On and off, we also have classroom sessions on topics like Pallava Grantham, ancient Indian astronomy, ancient Indian mathematics, etc. Another initiative that we have is called the Alamar Avai, which is like a networking platform for the school teachers of Tamil Nadu. Over a series of weekend lectures, various aspects of Indian history and heritage are discussed, the idea being that these teachers take them back to their students, thus increasing awareness amongst them. Another initiative of ours is called the Docent Training, and we have just completed the second edition of this last month. This is a training to prepare docents to present historical sites and heritage monuments in a professional manner to the enthusiastic audience, and includes both theoretical sessions and practical site visits. Another activity which we undertake annually, we call it the Site Seminar. This is largely an in-house activity meant for our own education and enhancement. We spot a site somewhere within India, and our volunteers study this site in depth, and we also have a series of in-house seminars. Then, armed with all this knowledge, we visit the site for an immersive learning experience, and we come back and try to document what we have experienced. From the THT, we have also instituted 2 annual awards. The first is the THT Professor S. Swaminathan Heritage Award, and as I already mentioned, we are in the midst of witnessing the presentation ceremony for the same for the year 2024. The other award that we give away every year is called the V. Venkaiah Epigraphy Award, and is meant to commemorate and honor individual contributions to the field of Indian epigraphy. It is named after V. Venkaiah, who was the first Indian official epigraphist, and is instituted by Miss Sunita Madhavan, his great-granddaughter. THT has been entrusted with the responsibility of administering this award. We have a dedicated YouTube channel, and links to all our past talks and programs are available here. Kindly subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to receive notifications of our future events. These are our social media handles, and this is our mailing address. You may kindly mail us here either to join our mailing list, or if you wish to be part of our organization in any way for volunteering and contributing. As already mentioned, we are a voluntary organization and do not have any dedicated financial backing. So any kind of contributions are welcome. You may please use this QR code or address to contribute generously. That in a nutshell was about THT. Now moving on to the main agenda today, which is the Professor S. Swaminathan Heritage Award. The genesis of this award happened almost 5 years back, when THT felt the need to recognize and honor exceptional individual contributions to the preservation, understanding and dissemination of Indian heritage. While our country right now has many well-endowed institutional platforms working in the field of heritage, there are an equal number of well-intentioned, scholastic, perseverant and enterprising individuals who have made heritage studies and preservation their lifetime's work. This award aims to encourage, honor, recognize and motivate such individual efforts. Named after our co-founder and the chief inspiration and moving force behind our trust and all its initiatives, Professor S. Swaminathan, this award chiefly aims to encourage general public to be more involved and interested in Indian heritage, raise awareness and appreciation of India's history, arts, culture and literature. At this point, I'd like to say a few words about our mentor and inspirer, Professor S. Swaminathan. His support and mentorship and leadership is unstinting. He is actively involved in all our initiatives, not only for the trust as a whole, but individually he mentors all of us, and association with him is priceless. A very warm welcome to you, sir, and your family who have chosen to grace this occasion in person. As you're all aware probably, this award is based on a series of nomination and selection. Anybody can nominate either themselves or people close to you. And we have a panel of jury who peruse through these applications and declare the winner. Our past winners include the dynamic Dr. Madhusudanan Kalaichelvan, 2020, the erudite Dr. G. Shankar Narayanan, 2021, the multifaceted Dr. Pradeep Chakravarti, 2022, and the well-deserving Professor P. Devi Ariviselvam, 2023. As I already mentioned, every year we have an esteemed panel of jury members who then go through our applications and peruse them in detail. In 2024 too, we are extremely happy to say that we had several nominations of very high quality and caliber. And we also had this esteemed jury members, which included Dr. E. Shivanagi Reddy, Chief Executive of the Cultural Center of Vijayawada and Amaravati, Dr. Sudeepa Ray Bandyopadhyay, Professor in the Department of Ancient Indian History and Culture, University of Calcutta, Mr. Ramesh Gauri Raghavan, Director, Institution School of Language and Literature, and our own Dr. Pradeep Chakravarti, Popular Heritage Expert and past winner of the THT Professor S. Swaminathan Heritage Award. We are extremely happy to say that this year the choice of winner or selection of winner was unanimous, and we proudly declare that the winner of the THT Professor S. Swaminathan Heritage Award 2024 is architect Madhu Vottery from Hyderabad. A big round of applause to her and a very warm welcome to you. Madhu Vottery, a Hyderabad-based architect, writer, heritage enthusiast and conservation resource person, has curated and coordinated heritage walks for the Telangana Tourism Department from 2009. She has designed a mobile application, Hyderabad Heritage, which covers 275 heritage sites in the city. She has authored 5 books, including A Guide to the Heritage of Hyderabad, published by Rupa Books, and Heritage of Hyderabad from Children for Children. She has also authored several research papers and writes extensively for the public in mainstream publications like the Times of India. Madhu is an expert member for ICOMOS and has worked on nomination papers of heritage sites to connect them to UNESCO and World Monuments Fund projects. As part of the National Scientific Committee for Cultural Tourism since 2019, she's been awarded the Pride of Telangana in 2021 and a senior fellowship by Ministry of Culture, Government of India in 2021 for her heritage work. Madhu was invited to the USA for the much coveted International Visitor Leadership Program for Cultural Heritage Preservation to share her experience with 15 other international delegates. In 2019, Madhu visited Chennai to receive the Reach India Heritage Award. In 2001, she also mentored school children to design a board game, Climate Action for Hyderabad Children, published in COP26 report at Glasgow. Thank you. Sorry. Originally from Lucknow, the northern part of the country, Madhu completed her Masters in Architectural Conservation from the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, and moved to Hyderabad in 2005. From then onwards, she has been consistently involved in promoting the history and heritage of that city, even through the Corona period. In fact, her book, Magnifying the Miniature, was written during COVID-19. Madhu loves her sustainable life and feels blessed to be Pride of Telangana. Glad to be part of the team of architects at ASPA Hyderabad, Madhu is thankful to the Almighty, her family, and everyone for this beautiful journey. I now request Professor S. Swaminathan to take the stage and do the honors of handing over the award and citation to Madhu. I request Madhu to take the stage. I think she should close this. I now request Ms. Raji Swaminathan, daughter of our eminent professor, hailing from Singapore, to address the audience.
I don't think I need. Namaskaram to everyone. It's truly an honor to share some personal reflections on the importance of preserving our heritage and the remarkable work that Tamil Heritage Trust is conducting, led by my father, Professor S. Swaminathan. Growing up, our evenings and weekends were spent helping Appa meticulously cut newspaper articles. There were a whole system. First, we will gather all 3 different newspapers, and Appa would carefully mark each page with the articles, and then we'd cut them out with precision. And finally, cataloging them in beautiful portfolios. Those portfolios were Google's before the internet ever reached us. And Amma, she was the guardian of this operation, making sure this weekly and monthly newspaper clipping madness was protected from her active children and all the other natural disasters that we go through. Beyond this, Appa's deep passion for India's heritage and his relentless efforts to preserve it through lecture demonstrations have left a lasting impact on us. As a child, I'll sit through quietly at the back of the room, ready to click through PowerPoint presentations when given a signal by my dad. Just yesterday, I was looking at Appa's presentation and pleasantly surprised that it has now become 800 PowerPoint presentations, and it's still growing. Watching him present, I began to see not just a thinker, but a leader who was committed to preserve our cultural roots. What I admire the most about him is how he set a clear vision, created a supportive platform, and empowered each team member to bring their unique strengths to the shared mission and preservation of our rich heritage. As Mahatma Gandhi quoted, "A nation's culture resides in the hearts and souls of its people." Heritage is indeed not just a history, it is a living part of who we are and a legacy for tomorrow. This legacy is preserved not only by the passionate leaders like my father and the members of THT, but is also preserved by visionaries like Madhu, whose pioneering work in Hyderabad has made a profound impact. Madhu's heritage walks, mobile apps for 200 sites, and books have opened a rich cultural vista to people of all ages. Her efforts remind us that preserving history is not just about archiving the past, it's about bringing it alive for future generations. I offer my heartfelt congratulations to Madhu for her unturning dedication and wish her all the very best as she continues this essential work. May her contribution inspire many more to honor, protect, and celebrate our shared heritage. Thank you. Namaskaram.
Before we move on to the main program of inviting our winner to give away her award lecture, I would like to say a few words about this last item in our agenda. I don't know how many of you have heard of artist Maniam Selvan, an artist and illustrator par excellence. He has contributed continuously year after year in THT's initiatives through his work. He has taken special efforts to design this award, which was given away today. Year after year, he creates unique art for this, thus making each and every award a one-off piece of its own with no replica, so that the winner actually carries something home, which is custom-made, unique, and meant only for themselves. We wish to acknowledge our deep gratitude and gratitude to Maniam Selvan for this contribution. We are extremely sorry that he is not here with us today, but wherever he is, we are hoping that he is hearing us. And we wish to make a token contribution of our approval and acceptance of him, and which will be handed over to him later. I now invite Madhu Vottery to take the stage and give away her award lecture. Architect Madhu Vottery. I think you will need to. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes, you get on. Sure. Just check the fire slides once and then you can. Yeah. There's a PDF. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, this is enough. You want full screen? I'll just check the last slide. You want full screen? Yeah, just check the slides. One second. You go to. Full screen coming in now. Okay, you can just take a look at it. No, and yeah. Control N. Just check the. No, she just wants to check the last one. It's the right one, I think. Yeah, I think this one. Yeah, sure.
Do you want a pointer?
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, okay.
No, it shouldn't be the description automatically generated like AI mode.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And namaste to all of you. It's a really proud moment for me to be there. And I must tell you that I have got wishes from all over the world and saying that it's a great honor to be part of the team and be a winner from Dr. Swaminathan's award. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you very much, THT, for this honor. I now start the lecture. So this is about me and the members of THT were discussing what I would be talking about, and we've all jointly decided the topic is cultural tourism and role of local communities, which I really feel is my understanding about the subject. So the pictures what you are seeing to the extreme left, the first picture is about me being with the students of ZP, Zilla Parishad High School, which is actually, I would say, practically at walking distance from my house. And somewhere in 2021-23, when I got the senior fellowship from Ministry of Culture, Government of India, I proposed this, that as a part of cultural resource management, we would try to generate small guidebooks for an independent site. So to do that, I will not be doing those books. I will do the capacity building for the teachers, for the students of grade 8, 9, 10th, 11th, 12th. Based on their presence and proximity to a heritage site, this work will be done. To start that, as we already know, we had the COVID time. The fellowship had extended for 2 years. It was actually 2019, 2021. But by the time I got the clarity on that, the COVID was still there. Honestly speaking, my suggestion was, I think my first host from Reach Foundation, they're already here. My first idea was to do the temple towns of Tamil Nadu. Unfortunately, it couldn't happen. Or you say, fortunately, I was not at that level where I could have done justice to the site, to the, I would say, to the beauty of the historic sites, and I wouldn't be that genuine. So, God has created all this, I would say, for me. Almighty had something else in plan. So then I thought, okay, let's look into our backyard, what is the heritage, and this is what we come for then. So this is a small step well, which is close to my knowledge, a temple is at least 400 years old, and the Bavli, which we say in Hyderabad, or the Bavi or the step well, could be more than that, could be older than 400 years. So I went to the ZP, the Zilla Parishad High School, and I requested the headmaster there, sir, can we take these children to the well? You won't believe this, the girls have never been to the well. Because a boy will simply go there, throw stones in the well and come back. But the boys also had no idea what is there in store for them. And it was a wonderful exercise because for the first time, the children knew that the site is that old. Antena, ma'am, Antena, they will ask, okay, this is what you're talking about. Is it really true? Yes. So how the project started, I used to do some basic sketches, what you're seeing me doing there, and the kids are around me. And then the measurement exercise happened. So of course, as an architect, I took the lead, but then without their helping and this project wouldn't have been completed. So this was something very interesting I enjoyed and very close to my heart, and I really know that, you know, the efforts were put in from the teachers, from the children, and of course me as a team leader. To the second slide is about a project somewhere in 2011. I was talking to somebody in the morning, I don't remember, but yes, my projects have been, I would say, of a different scale. The scale could be just one day project. Let's say, sir, if you come to Hyderabad and you are whether an international visitor or an Indian visitor, by mistake or with some good reasons you found my number and say, Madhu, can I have a historic part of the city tour with you? So that will be my pride, and then I would take the tour in my own way. I will come to the details as a part of this lecture. So in 2011, ICA happened in Hyderabad, ICCA, International Convention Congress Association, ICA. And it was actually an honor to get ICA to Hyderabad. This is what the senior level IS officer had told me. And Madhu, can you do a curtain raiser? Believe me, my legs were shaking. 850 foreign delegates, can you handle it? But then I could see, you know, the joy inside me which I could not express, and at the same time, you know, whether I can live up to the expectation of my IS officer. The similar thing happened somewhere in 2009 when the same officer had picked me up for this project called Hyderabad Heritage Walks. Now, that time we were Andhra Pradesh, now it is Telangana. So when he called me for a heritage walk, I just went with one route in mind, and then he said we will have different routes, and then every year we chose one route. So right now we have 4 heritage walks, 1 nature walk, 1 craft walk, 1 museum walk, 1 market walk, and also a water walk. This is what I will take you through. So in 2011, he told me that 850 foreign delegates and you will be there. Believe me, when I reached the venue, my mouth was open. Wow, this is the venue. So the venue is actually earlier called 7 Tombs. Right now there are almost 75 sites, and it is part of the UNESCO list, not as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but yes, as a UNESCO Asia Pacific Award for the Stepwells. So that project was still under progress, and this event happened there, and all these foreign delegates were there, and I was just taken, when I got down the stage, I could just see the love and affection amongst all these delegates, and my officer was of course very satisfied with what I did. It was a short program, maybe like half an hour or 45 minutes. So I really have a serious gratitude for those people who believed in me. Even I didn't have that, I would say, confidence, yeah, that I can do it. To the right hand side, the last picture is in 2012 when I was selected for the most beautiful part of my life, I would say. Up to that date was International Visitor Leadership Program, IVLP, and with that experience, I can tell you, it was offered to people like Indira Gandhi, Narendra Modi ji, Pratibha Patil. I was selected for that, and I went to US. Thank you. And there the topic was called Cultural Heritage Preservation, and always, you know, we have the doubt, okay, it's cultural heritage preservation because this is how they call in US. And then I was a part of the 16 international visitors team across the globe, and where, honestly speaking, I didn't have to do anything. I just have to do what I'm doing in Hyderabad. I had to just tell that. So there also I had this doubt, why am I called to US? I don't know what great thing I did. So I once again thank all those people who really think that I have that energy. Thank you very much for that confidence in me, sir. It matters a lot for me. This is actually, when we are talking about cultural tourism, the term sounds complicated, but I would like to put it very simply. And I know THT is doing such a wonderful job, but I'm on this platform chosen by you, are sharing my experiences, what I do in Hyderabad, or let's say across Telangana and some parts of southern India, I would say. So cultural tourism is especially the term meant for that stimulates economic growth and preserves heritage together. This is very, very important because my professors in Delhi have taught me that there is no preservation of heritage when you are only talking about economic growth. It has to be a balanced combination of both. Let heritage be there and economic growth be there together. Only then you call it sustainable. So this is where my topic comes. I did not want to say just cultural tourism. I call it integrated sustainable cultural tourism. And we get on to one by one all these terms. As I said, to me also, if you say 5 years back, it sounded a bit complicated, but now I do have that confidence to talk. And another good thing I'll tell you, for all that 20 years of work which I have put in Hyderabad is also acknowledged by UNESCO. We are 10 cities in the southern globe, including Hyderabad, the best case studies for the experiences and practices for the cultural tourism, integrated sustainable cultural tourism. So this cultural tourism is actually fosters cross-cultural understanding. In fact, what we are doing today is a cross-cultural understanding. My earlier host from Reach Foundation, I would say Chandrasekhan Garu, is already here. So when I was called last time, I again had this doubt that the program is about one culture where I am doing something else in my own culture. Let the faith be different, let the culture be different, let the region be different, but we unite as a community, Indians together. Once again, thank you very much. So it promotes sustainable development, as we already said, and community revitalization. Community revitalization, it stands at different level. It depends site to site. It could be one small site. For example, I can say that in Delhi you have Nizamuddin Basti and Humayun's Tomb. When Humayun's Tomb restoration started, the project idea was holistic, so the entire community get benefited. That is what is community revitalization about. And when you say these two sketches, why are they put there? So I would just like to add a small, you can say, nugget to it, that I was in Ajmer. My sister belongs to that area, and when I was going back to Ajmer airport, it is actually in Kishangarh. Why in Kishangarh? Very interesting thing, that Kishangarh has a lot of stone, can say, people who sell stone, in simple words, promoters. So these investors, promoters, they requested the government to have the Ajmer airport, but in Kishangarh. Of course, the place was already there. I mean, the land was allocated, but Kishangarh has some very, very beautiful tradition of miniature paintings. By then, I was already working and my book was done on miniature painting. I would like to show you that. So the lady here is called Bunny Thani. It is again about cultural tourism only. I am not diverting the topic. And the picture what you are seeing, the building, is actually a palace on the lake in Kishangarh. Such a mesmerizing place. I got up early in the morning, took 2 hours extra before reaching airport, and I convinced my driver he will show me Kishangarh. So this is, I would say, my journey. I stand here where my people from my family have not come with me, of course, for the simple reason that there are elders at home. But within that limitation, can we do something for our own country, for our own people, for our own children, is what I think on a daily basis. Cultural tourism include, but not limited to, architectural and archaeological treasures. We always think that architectural treasures or archaeological finding, only that make cultural tourism, but it goes beyond that. We'll see that. It involves culinary activities. So I'm thankful to my host today, both the host, my older host and my latest host, THT and Reach Foundation, to give me culinary experience of Tamil Nadu and Telangana both. Thank you once again, sir and ma'am. I would like to add Hyderabad culinary experience. I have been part of UCCN, UNESCO Creative Cities Network. So Hyderabad is on the map of UNESCO for this Creative City Network, and our city is city of gastronomy. So we are known for biryani, biscuit, halim, and what all you name for. You come to Hyderabad and an entire platter is waiting for you. Now, another thing in cultural tourism is festivals or events. These festivals are, I'm just trying to give you a simple example, very famous Navaratri and Uttarayan. So in Ahmedabad, you celebrate Uttarayan festival. So also it is about historic or heritage sites, monuments and landmark. We already know about it, museums and exhibition. National park, for example, we say Kaziranga National Park. So this is, of course, as I told you, beyond being the architectural and archaeological treasures. It's part of cultural tourism. Another is religious venues. So a lot of people come to India to see Durga Puja, which is, of course, now part of intangible cultural heritage of UNESCO. And oral traditions, like we do Burra Katha in Telangana, Hari Katha, and Yakshagan in Karnataka. So these things, and also performing arts, rituals, knowledge and practices concerning nature and universe. I would like to add an example here. Right now I'm representing my region, Telangana. I work in an architecture college as an associate professor called Ashoka School of Planning and Architecture, where almost around 60 kilometers from there, it's world's only temple where we have a unique shadow formation right behind the Shivalingam. It's called Chaya Someshwara. Chaya is of course the shadow, and Someshwara is related to Lord Shiva. So when you enter the temple from the southern side to eastern side, you see a Panapatta. I mean, the stone under the lingam is called as Panapatta in Telangana. So this Panapatta has a beautiful sun chariot with 7 horses, which we hardly notice when we go there because we only see Chaya. So the east side is Surya, and to the west side is Lord Shiva, of course Shivalingam, which is little, I would say, not on the entrance level of the temple, little below that. And right behind the Shivalingam is the shadow formed. Interestingly, there is no direct sunlight in the temple. And to the northern side is Vasudeva. When you sit in the Rangamandapam right opposite Shivalingam, between the Shivalingam and the Surya temple, you can feel the vibration. I have been there multiple times, but the last time I left my student on the bus, I said, give me 2 minutes. I just ran and I sat there. I could just feel the breeze which is coming from the Pushkarini, the temple tank, right at the entrance, main entrance of the temple. And then, as I said, eastern side Shiva and eastern side Surya and western side Shiva, and then Vasudeva. You are actually trapped by these 3 gods, and then you say, sit there and meditate. No other business. So that's the beauty of Indian heritage. You go wherever and you will find some of their unique fact. Believe me, if you start writing on unique fact, you will run short of one book. So this is, I would say, we represent all the culture. We represent one country. Then this is what I was saying concerning nature and universe. Italy, I would say that there's a scientist in Italy, they thought about this program, talking about the shadow and how the shadow formation has happened somewhere in 1700 date, and the temple was already ready in 1400 date. So we were, of course, 300 to 400 years before time for them. To the right hand side, I am writing cultural tourism that is sustainable and integrated too. Can we do that? So these are 2 pictures which I have put to the left hand side image. The smaller image you are seeing, I have taken a program called Museum Walk where I train the school teachers. So by nature, I have been sustainable. I try to always. So when we were doing this program, I straight away walked up to the government officers and I told them, ma'am and sir, when we are doing this program, we should look for the guides. Who are the guides? The guides, let the guides be the school teacher itself. Because when the school teachers have learnt it, of course, they'll walk up to the museum and they'll bring their own children. So that's the sustainable method I thought of. Because school, if you tell them you pay 500 rupees to the guide, they might shy away, they might not come. Depends on what kind of school is that. Keep the money part aside. If you train the teacher takes back the idea to the classroom. Of course, teachers should be trained for these programs, and I know THT is wonderfully doing that. To the right hand side is a picture. As I said, if you come on to saying only one in the world, this is another ajuba we call, other unique part, unique story. So this is called 101 People's Table, which is one and only one Falaknuma Palace in Hyderabad. I am blessed to be now part of that city. The way you have adopted me from THT, I have been adopted in Hyderabad by those Nawabs. They say, you are from Hyderabad now. So I'm glad to be part of this. And here we had 2 international guests. So the whole day I was running around, similarly, same way, going up Charminar, coming down, running here, running there. At the end, abhi to kahani shuru hui hai. This was just a trailer for me. So they said, Madhu, are you coming to Falaknuma with us? I was like, oh my God, whole day I've been running around. I'm not in a condition. Like, you know the story of Cinderella type, and then I have been called to this 101 people dining table. How will I go? That feeling. No, you come. We cannot do the tour without you, Falaknuma Palace. That was the first time when I visited Palace in its full glory. Before that, I have been there. My daughter was hardly 6 months old and the palace was under restoration. The palace guard told, Madam, bachchi ko table pe sula dijiye, usko bhi yaad rahega. Falaknuma mein soye the jaake. The child was still infant and I had the joy of making her, sit on the table. So this is that table. The beauty of the table is when you talk any part of the dining hall, only Nizam can hear you. That's the beauty of it. So Nizam got it designed like this. Kuch bhi gadbad hogi, I'll get to know. So no messing around with our royal families. Yeah, this is sustainable tourism appreciating local. So here this slides tell you to the left hand side we have a temple. It is called Ammapalli temple. Interestingly, Hyderabad does have good number of stepwells and historic temples. We do conduct temple tours, mosque, tombs, whatever comes. I mean, as a architect, conservation architect, my religion is heritage, my faith is heritage. In the center, we have Yakshagan, which is, of course, from Karnataka. And to the right-hand side extreme, last picture is from, this is Telangana in Warangal. This is Padmakshi Gundam. So we are just trying to say that nature and built exist together when you talk about the historic sites. But then when we come to the modern sites, I mean, I know that, you know, the exceptions are always there. But most of the time, nature has to suffer for a modern building. Why that? When we could do all this in past so very well, why not now? Sustainable tourism, appreciating local, appreciating the locals, their culture, their tradition, their work. So I would say, what is local? Your home hosting is local. Your private garden tour is local. We do that with a lot of pride. I have some 500 plants in my house, and I do by keeping a national tree in focus. Our national tree, we all know, is banyan tree. Hindi mein si bad ka ped. It is actually, we are blessed to be around the banyan tree. And my neighbor comes every puja once in a year and she say, can I take down the stem of a tree? My family members will shout and say, tell her to plant a tree in her own house. Trees are not supposed to be cut. And when you go and ask her, पागल हो क्या, बड़ का पेड़ कोई घर में लगाता है? You fellows are crazy. You want to put ficus in your own house? I said, see how the world has changed. We have been taught in our all scriptures, if you cut a tree, your 100 people in the family will suffer. Here people are cutting branch every day and they say they are taking it for worshipping. I don't know what kind of it is. Anyways, I'm sorry. So food from across India is also cultural tourism. Local ceremonies are cultural tourism. So once what happened that a young couple came to my house. They called me up a day before and they said, can we have a tour tomorrow? Fortunately, we had Sivaratri next day. I was so happy. Lord Shiva sent 2 new guests to our house. And they literally sat. They performed a small worship in our house and they said, can you take us to the temple? And the lady was so excited looking at me in sari. Madhu, I want to wear a sari with you. I said, okay, fine, most welcome. So I gifted her whatever I had at home. She wore a sari and she walked up to the temple. And believe me, when she was walking on the main road in the walled city part, one journalist stopped and said, Madam, ekkadiki veltunaranta? Where are you going? So very, very politely he stopped and he took pictures. I mean, I really, I'm telling you, fortunately, I always had a pride and I always had positive feelings in this profession. Learning language. Learning folk dance, classical dance, knowing about your artifacts. So one day I had a singing bowl in my house and one gentleman all the way came from Assam and he told me the value of the singing bowl, the prayer wheel and the Buddhist artifacts which we had in our house. So I myself enjoying my own cultural tourism, learning from my culture because of this tradition. Learning languages. Inscriptions which THT is doing. During COVID, we had a lot of classes running for the learning inscriptions. So I also ended up learning Brahmi and learning the old Nagari from, of course, an institute in Varanasi. Cooking. In Hyderabad, so many people call us and say, can you teach us how to make biryani? I said, okay, you come home. I don't cook biryani for myself, but I will teach you whatever I cook. So most of the time, if I have a smaller team, I would call them for a breakfast. And we would have a long discussion about the Indian food traditions, how the tradition is similar in the other part of the country and how they merge and stand diverse also. As I already said about sari draping, that's another beautiful example. Sustainable and integrated tourism, again the same thing. So now I come to the example what we have created as sustainable cultural tourism for which we got the honor. Hyderabad Heritage Walk we started in 2009. After Heritage Walk, 4 routes which ran between 2009 to 11 and they are still functioning. I got on to Nature Walk which was already there in Telangana Forest Academy. TSF it is called, State Forest Academy. And then I tried to, I can't say I polished it, but you can say I revived it and I added some more factors to it. And I did tell the officer, if your students are coming for a heritage walk, nature walk, what are their takeaways? So then everybody's clueless, and then we thought of this idea that we teach them what is segregation of waste and how to create alternative for plastic. So we started making paper bags, and the children who come for a nature walk, they don't go back home without making paper bags. Now, who taught me paper bags? I must tell you, I come from a humble background where in our school holidays we all made paper bags, and my mother weighed it and told, today you did this much rupees work. So we have learned hard way. This is what I'm trying to give back to the community. Another thing is museum walk and craft walk. Craft walk was a great learning for me. We started this program in Shilparamam. I'm sure Chennai also would have such an institution, or you can say such a campus. So craft walk in Shilparamam was an idea because every year they would start something like a summer camp. So in summer camp, they will have miniature painting or patachitra painting. So one day I walked up to a very senior officer connected to this Shilparamam, and I requested him, sir, we have such beautiful resources, why don't we connect them to a nature walk? He said, okay, do, Madhu, whatever you want to do, go ahead. And then I went with him to Shilparamam and I identified the program. Immediately on site, I gave him a brief, sir, this is what we want to do. Cheyandi, cheskondi, go ahead, do it. Okay, fine. So then we started something called a summer camp, more professionally, more organized. It is working till date, and a craft walk. So craft walk means a group of 100, 50, 25 children will come there, and they will go to every counter, and at the end 2-3 craftsmen will come, craft person will come, and they will talk about their craft. They will actually demonstrate it. And also not only in Shilparamam, the crafts person could walk up to the school. The idea is still there. Some people contact us, some school teachers, school administration, and they take the craft persons to their school. So this is also again giving back to the community. As I said in the starting, the tourism must be connected with the economic growth. As an individual, I keep trying on those lines. Another one, we say museum walk. This museum walk is something very, very interesting. I will show you in pictures. So we have a museum, it's called a prehistory museum, where we have, it's called Centenary Prehistory Museum, and across the museum is a gun foundry. In fact, there were many gun foundries. I'm sure you all would know about this, that Tipu have made some gun foundry. Before that also they were there. If we talk about the history of gun foundries, I remember I have seen one huge one in Jaipur in one of the forts, and the foundries are still in a good condition. I mean, you can go and see that. So in Hyderabad, we found a small foundry right opposite the museum. So I gave this idea to our government offices. Let's have a museum walk where we see the museum and where we see the foundry also. Whichever state it is in, let's make it clean and then conduct the program. And believe me, the joy we had from the girls and boys. One fellow will come and say, ma'am, barut kaise banate? How do you make gunpowder? There's one boy who will come, ma'am, how to design a cannon? Can you help me with that? So, I mean, you see the joy of children. I'm sure we don't have answers to all the questions, but at least you're creating excitement in the community around you. So this is our museum walk all about, and market walk. So somewhere during COVID, we had, our government had restored a beautiful historic market called Mozam Jahi market. Mozam Jah was, of course, the last Nizam's grandson. So Azam Jah and Mozam Jah, after him, this market is called Mozam Jahi market. And it is known to be designed after London Central Market. So there's a beautiful circle kind of space. That's a central courtyard for the museum, for the market. And then it has like a three arms, like a jellyfish, you can say, starfish. So 3 arms, out of 3 arms, the one arm, which is on the main crossing, has a huge clock tower. So there, instead of just restoring the market, instead of just talking about the history of the place, I again gave this idea that since we are doing an archival study for the market, let's do a heritage walk. And then around that area, we identified some of the building and we designed a market walk. It is still on a website of the government. Then capacity building workshop, I would say many programs were done for that. So guides capacity building, of course, because you need the guides to run the show of heritage walk. You need the training for the school teachers. As I told you, showed you the picture about the museum walk, the teachers would conduct this program. From the heritage club, a lot of people come and they get trained. Tourism clubs, history and architecture, and also hotel and tourism management students. So hotel and tourism management students, we also gave them the idea to the admin that if you talk about one period, let us say you are talking about Kakatiya period in Telangana. So the student would know how Kakatiyas lived life, how their buildings were, how those people were, and can we have a theme restaurant, can we have a theme event with the Kakatiya heritage in focus. So like that, different period, we come to British period, we come to Mughal period, like that. Now, who were the walkers? The walkers are school and college student. We also try to connect whatever we do with their school curriculum, because in order to bring them to school, you have to call it a bagless day, you have to call it unburdening the classrooms, only then they will buy your idea. Fortunately, in the morning when I came, first half, I had a session with 59 students in a school somewhere in T Nagar, and I was honored that the children were patiently waiting for us. Another colleague is here, Supriya. We both conducted a lovely session with children. So our idea was, when we talk about heritage, we have to unburden the session, the classroom session. And the children are more than happy to have another teacher than their regular teacher. The knowledge is more. So these are our walkers, hotel and design student. They can learn from the historic element, which I just now told. Now what the pictures are about. The first picture is from Stonehenge of Telangana. We have gone to Stonehenge, you can say, in England. I'm sure you also have a lot of rock sites, megalithic sites in Tamil Nadu. We have some wonderful sites in Telangana, and I was invited there to assess the ecotourism program. So this is ecotourism program. The left side and the extreme right side, both are ecotourism site. The right side one is like almost like a horseshoe, or you can say an arch shape, Bogota waterfalls. And in the center is one of my favorite picture, because if you told you about the prehistory museum, so prehistory museum is the idea where you're talking about the history before the written records are found. I can say that's what is prehistory. So the children went and they saw all the artifacts, and then at the end we had to conduct an activity for them. We planned it like this. So we bought the clay, and the clay was given to them and say, imitate whatever you have seen, and you are not going to go back to the museum. They happily did it. They had so much of sharp mental memory. They came back and they say that this is the slingshot. They designed a slingshot. This is Trishul we have seen, the trident. They designed that. So this activity was, I would say, one of my favorite programs through the museum walk. Again, the same question, what is the local community doing? They protect, they preserve, and they promote. If you are doing it in Tamil Nadu, of course, I must appreciate it. Otherwise, from one part of the country, nobody will come and protect it. You can call any officer. The first protection comes from the locals. So we are glad that a city like Chennai, who has such active residents, thank you ma'am, thank you sir for doing it for us. Chomahalla, we are showing about Hyderabad. The first picture you are seeing is UNESCO 2011. We had you can say kind of honor ceremony for UNESCO for Chomahalla. And here the senior most gentleman is Dr. V.K. Bava, my mentor in Hyderabad. I would say almost, sir, your age group. When I came to Hyderabad, as I really feel that in the field, he was my godfather. He made me walk in the street of Hyderabad, practically, I would say. If I say, you work on Qutub Shahi period, and I'm like sitting like blank, what is Qutub Shahi? I don't know. Then he would say, don't you know there are so many Qutub Shahi monuments lying and falling, and you are just talking blah blah something. Just go and visit all of them. Another professor, Nalini Thakur. Today morning I tried to see her from SPA Delhi. So somewhere in 2003-05, when I was doing my post-graduation in Delhi, I prepared a report. And that report, the minute it went into in her hand, she took it, put it into pieces, and practically threw it on me. Shame on you. Leave the class. I don't want you in SPA Delhi. I don't know what all she told me. She was in a big anger, and I had just tears falling on my cheek. And she said, I'm not concerned. You fly, you crawl, you swim, but Hyderabad is not about one building. It's about at least 1,000 of heritage building. She could curse me the way she cursed. And this is what made a good and sincere student. So I'm thankful to all the cursings given by sincere teachers who know your potential, who will catch you from your neck and make you do things. So Dr. V.K. Bava was one such gentleman. People would ask me, how do you work with this gentleman? So I really feel that when my name is Madhu, my name starts with mad. ठीक है, पागल लोग के साथ तो काम करना चाहिए. So I was a mad person there. And Centenary Museum, to the right hand side, you are seeing the activity. This is a gateway, which is actually called the salvage archaeology. Salvage archaeology, I repeat my word. So what happens, there are a couple of things connected together, I remember. So it seems when Chandigarh was getting ready, I think that was Jawaharlal Nehru's time. And then it was told, let's bury the past. Let Chandigarh rise, let's bury the past. Fortunately or unfortunately, that has been the status of Indian heritage. If it was any other part of the world, they would glorify it. 100 saal purani building ko polish maar ke they will take $500 from you and then present it as if there's something great about it. Fine, very great. But then what's about our heritage? So fortunately, this is one good example I found that there's one, you can say a water body is getting built, and then a lot of excavation is happening, and the entire series of villages were vacated, and our department, our government could do a salvage archaeology, and this is coming from there, Mahbubnagar district. And this is a beautiful stone gateway, and these children who are sitting on the ground are basically celebrating, if I'm not wrong, World Museum Day. Community engagement, how do you do that? Honestly speaking, when I started listening to these words, jargon, khichdi hai yaar, kuch samajh mein nahi aata, very hard to understand. So what? Okay, so I was offered a small project, I would say almost like a zero budget thing. And then the call comes from the government office and say, Madam, karenge. Then I asked, what's the fee? Madam, fees nahi hai. I said, karenge, because it's about children. Somewhere at the corner of my heart, nahi yaar, bachcho ke liye karna chahiye, you should do something about them. So I started taking up small government school, and wherever I went, I looked for the ZP first, Zilla Parishad. So I went to this UNESCO site, Ramappa World Heritage Site, Telangana and Andhra, twin Telugu states, only one heritage site. I would say that Tamil Nadu is much richer compared to our state. So here, these are ZP children. So I asked them one question, because it's about Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The talk is about Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So how are you celebrating your 75 years of independence? My question was, do you know about Indian World Heritage Sites? We started going from chronology, okay, starting from Dholavira, Indus Valley period, then coming to Maurya period, all Buddhist side, then coming to the Hindu period, then coming to Tamil Nadu, you're talking about, let's say, Tanjore temples, you're talking about Mahabalipuram, because these are all World Heritage Sites. And closing towards, let's say, Santiniketan right now. So the children have no idea how many lines are there in your national symbol. Ek bacha bolta hai 3 hai, ek 4 hai. How many are there, Nana? Like that you ask. Then one fellow came and said 3. Okay, I said you bring 4 people out. So 4 guys came first, and okay, face east, west, north, south. Why ma'am face east, west, north, south? I said because that's Buddha's concept. That this is called lion's roar. So your good ideas should go in all the direction, and that's why this lion capital stands. So the lion capital is formed by the boys. When boys said, I said, ladkiyan piche ke aur na, the girls should also come forward. And 4 girls looking east, west, north, south is this picture. And this is from the World Heritage Site Ramappa Temple. Just half a kilometer from the Ramappa Temple is this group of children whom I met again this year when I went for the World Heritage Volunteers Workshop, for which I am coming right now. The next picture, you are seeing lots of children, they are sitting in metro station. How metro and heritage, how it is connected? But then you can call it bread and butter of Madhu, or you can call it her interest or the madness. I walked up to metro station, called them up and say, boss, heritage ke liye kuch kaam hai kya? They said, madam, heritage and metro station, how does it work? I said, okay, let me explain you. All your metro stations in Hyderabad are around the heritage sites. Let's respect that. Yes, that is true. Then what are you doing about it? So I identified the days which are already declared by UN. I didn't do anything big. I identified World Water Day, and we decided that along Musi River we have a one big station. Let's celebrate the World Water Day there. Brilliant idea. We are also working for sustainability. Metro Rail people were happy, and we designed this program. And the children never heard about celebrating World Water Day with school children. Nice, interesting, right? So I took some plants with me. You can say maybe some of the students are carrying these plants. I also got it from Hyderabad today morning, gifted it already. So these plants were gifted to children and some other things by the Metro Rail authorities. And it was a fun event. I remember it till date. Some children just walk up to me and say, ma'am, we met you at metro station. We met you at Salanting Museum. That's the satisfaction I live up to the next day, I would say. Bottom, this is something very, very interesting. I would like to add that. It's a small picture. I think this is the same picture which is used in the poster. I did a capacity building workshop for the jewelry showroom. Hurry, jewelry showroom and heritage, what is the connect? I said, if you're wearing this earring and this necklace, you must know where it stands in history. When people made gold, when people made patterns, when they use something in their choti, you know, in their hair ornament, when they make mangtika, when they make bangles, you should know about it. You're doing business out of it. They were very happy, very impressed. Okay, good. That was a COVID time. We anyways had very poor business, very happy to meet the jewelers. And then I took them to this beautiful heritage site called Amapalli, Sri Sita Rama Swami Devalayam, Amapalli, at huge water tanks. And the owner of the jewelry showroom personally came with me. She was very impressed with this program. Believe me, I never wore so much of gold, not even in my marriage. Some 20 lakh rupees gold I'm wearing. Mera nahi tha. Gifted temporarily by them. Believe me, it was so hard for me to even move out for a minute. I said, you people will say gold leke bhag gayi. So I won't go anywhere till your event is over. We had a great time there. Second picture, next one is about Bidar, and I was selected for, it was a very tough competition. I heard that there was some 1,000+ application came for this because, you know, everybody wants to do work and get paid for it. So it was a program from Intact India and a scholarship to write on Bidar and Basav Kalyan. Bidar is very close to my heart because there's a water system. Morning we talked about that in the school also. There's a connection of horizontal and vertical wells. We generally don't know about it. So every horizontal well is, let's say, at 100-200 meters. And these horizontal wells, of course, we know about horizontal well, are connected with underground horizontal well, vertical well, and then horizontal well. So that's Bidar. So Bidar have now water heritage, of course, and the built heritage, which you are seeing here, architectural heritage. And the next site is from a water walk. Water walk, honestly speaking, I never got paid for water walk. It is my own interest. As I told you, the temple near my house where there's a well. So I would go one Saturday. If there are a good number of people from that area itself, fine. This is a capacity building for them, awareness for them. Let's conduct the program. I'll do water walk. My daughter is here. She would also come for a water walk. We'll have fun and we'll go back. So this is a water walk. The last picture is also very, very interesting. All India Radio and Heritage. This sounds very interesting. I get a call from All India Radio and say, Madam, Heritage Day pe kuch karenge. I said, wow, lovely. Let's go. Again, the same question, finances. Fine, whatever they paid, happy, because it's all about children. You are taking children out. You yourself are getting out of your boring daily routine, just sitting on laptop working, drawing. Fine. 4 बच्चे मिलेंगे, हंसने को मिलेगा यार, खुशी का मौका है, जाओ. Feel good about it. So these are the girls. You can see their face. They are so happy there. They said, Madam, हमने कभी All India Radio नहीं देखा. हमने भी नहीं देखा. I have never been there. Let's go there. So this is another interesting thing. And it is still there on YouTube. You can see it. It was a very interesting lecture involving the students, which you already saw, heritage walk, study tour. And yes, what do we ask for? Because this is called Bagless Day as per CBSC. And you have the session where you get to go out of your classroom. Workshops for writing book. This I would always like to conduct. I have not done that. It has been part of my agenda. Like I said, I have a friend from Kumbakonam. Let's write a book on Kumbakonam. Let's write a book on the Agraharam, whatever is remaining. Because I agree, heritage will go. How much ever we try. You will not find 100% what you have seen in your childhood. What I have seen in my childhood, my child will not find it 100%. So let's document it. That's the Western way of looking at heritage. But then Indians must also learn from that. If you cannot create a balance, if you cannot have sustainable development, let's at least document it. Let's tell the stories to the children. This is what we had. If you can, I'm sorry, we couldn't keep it for you. So yeah, so this is what workshop on writing books and World Heritage Volunteers Workshop. I'm just coming to that. So the picture is about Hampi. So what happened that, I'll tell you the fact. I wanted to take my child out. I can't do it alone for XYZ reason. So what will I do? Arey, chalega kya? Hampi jayenge. Let's go to Hampi. Okay, I'll ask my child. Ask your friend. Her mother will come. Ask your friend. And then we will have at least half a dozen mothers ready. Mission accomplished. Now what if these 6 ladies are going? Why will they go with me? Think about it. They're not paying me. That's one thing. Second is, they can go on their own, right? With their own family members. Why will they come with me? So I do a capacity building workshop for these children, what they will do on the site. So we will have 3 to 4 months plan in advance. Ticket book ho gaya? Final. We are going, right? What next? Tomorrow we will have an archaeoastronomy class for grade 6 children. Sounds very complicated, right? But then when they come home, What do? We do a storytelling on Purnima day. It's a full moon day. You don't need lights, right? Switch off the lights. The next slide is about that. So one mother will call me, Madhu, it's been a long time you didn't do a Purnami workshop. Bachcho ko bulao, let them be out in the evening. We can do that. So this is about Hampi. That's about the gun foundry, which I told you, related to the museum. Okay, you can see a lot of children, school children around it, and they're asking these questions, how to make gunpowder, how to design a gun. And the last slide, the last picture with the blue and grey students. This is about a typical heritage walk. And interestingly, Hyderabad has even the British architecture, you can say European architecture. So when we teach a Greek and Roman period to architecture student, I said, boss, you don't need to go anywhere, just come with me. I will show you. Hyderabad has everything. All scale, all design, all elements are found there. These are works of student which I'm showing you. You can see a girl, she's working, she's actually coloring on the inscription. And this inscription is from Veistambala Gudi, 1000 pillar temple from Warangal. A beautiful inscription is there. And that inscription is about Lord Shiva. So there's a Shivalingam. Under that you have this Nandi, you can see the bull family. And under that is a Raja, along with the Raja. You can't see all that. I have to put another slide for that. And the Raja and the preceptor, the Pujari, the senior person who's telling him what to do. Of course, for the ruling part and also for the ritual, you can say. The pencil drawing, what you are seeing, the scribbling part, it's a recent one. As I told you about Chaya Someshwara temple. So when I took all the children for Chaya Someshwara temple, these are my first year fresh batch. They are practically children. They've just entered architecture college. Ma'am, why are we doing this? Then I asked, first ask yourself why you're doing it. And this boy ran and brought a butter sheet. Ma'am, I want to do the scribbling. I also want to see how the inscription is seen on the butter sheet. When the inscription is ready, ma'am, should I submit it to you? I said, what do you want to do that with? What will you do with that? Ma'am, I want to keep it. It's very nice, ma'am. It's good for my memory. I learnt about making inscriptions. Imagine he's making inscription with those scribblings. Happy, very happy. So this is what, it was a matter of joy for me, so I kept that. What you're seeing, the arched gateway, this is actually a Qutub Shahi period arched gateway from Mecca Masjid. Mecca Masjid is built at different point of time. There's a nice story I would like to share with you. When Mecca Masjid was getting constructed, who will lay the foundation? There was a complete silence in the court. And the question was asked, nobody, a person who has not missed a namaz in his life should lay the foundation. Again, there was a silence in the court, and then the ruler himself got up and he says, since the day I started doing namaz, I never missed a namaz in my life, and I would lay the foundation. So this was about Mecca Masjid. Interestingly, when Mecca Masjid was getting constructed, it was told that whoever completes it, that's it. His reign will get completed. So the last Qutub Shah tried to complete it. His reign got completed. His rule is over. Then the Mughal ruler came, Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was asked a question. In the court, people requested him, can you please pay for the mosque construction? He read a couplet, Kare dunya tamam naqasad, har sagirat, mukhtasar girat. What does it mean? Why the hell you started a mammoth project in your life which you couldn't complete it? Man, get off. I'm not going to pay for it. Okay. So then he said, I will pay for it, but a minimum sum was paid. So if you come to Charminar, you see the minarets are like, if this is the Charminar cuboid, double height is the minaret. So one scale is this, another one is here. So like 1:2 you can say. But the other way around is Mecca Masjid. It is 1/2:1. So because the money was not paid for Mecca Masjid. So all these stories we tell to the children. So that's the secondary gateway, the original gateway I would say, which was made, the smaller one. And the smaller booklets which you are seeing, they are with me, they are for you, I have kept it, these sketches, and these sketches are basically, we give it to the children like a token of appreciation when you conduct a program and say, okay, you learned something about heritage, I'm happy you did a lot of question and answer, you should get the gift, and you should stitch a book like this. So they are hand stitched, hand sketched, handcrafted books. And what you are seeing is a model, physical model, architectural model. They are done by a lot of school children. This is how our Chaya Someshwara looks like. So what you are seeing is the entrance part. As I said, you enter from the south, and where I am seeing to my right hand side, as I said, east side is Suryagudi, and to the west side is Shivalayam, and the opposite side is Vasudeva temple. This is World Heritage Volunteers Camp. As I spoke earlier about this, so World Heritage Volunteer Camp is mainly meant for the World Heritage sites and also the sites in tentative list. So I want the similar program to be applied, because you have to apply to UNESCO. Maybe we can apply for Kanchi. If I happen to see Kanchi tomorrow, maybe I'll have better inputs to tell you, and then we can apply to UNESCO. Generally in the month of November we fill these applications, and then maybe around next year, around August to November, you can conduct these programs. You actually don't need lot of money for it. It is both ways. Government supports something, and then the people who come for the workshop, they support the program. In fact, we can do Mahabalipuram and Kanchi together in Chennai. So you stay back in Chennai, you go to Mahabalipuram, go to Kanchi and come, and we can do this program. So to the left hand side is capacity building program. The person who's getting honored is my senior. I would say that I give the credit to him to invite me to the team, because he's the one who wrote the nomination for Ramappa Temple and the Kakatiya Heritage Trust. So I find that the name sounds so similar, Kakatiya Heritage Trust and Tamil Heritage Trust, so I'm happy to put this here. And the senior most gentleman is Dr. Panduranga Rao. He's a person who entirely worked for the nomination. It took 14 years almost to get our nomination clear from UNESCO office. And to the right hand side is of course me, along with me, my sister in green, and two of my friends, and Professor Panduranga Rao, for this capacity building World Heritage Volunteers Camp. So the camp is designed for almost 12 days. Of course, first day and last day are formalities, but in between 10 days we do serious activities. The activities which you are already doing, talking about inscription, talking about architecture of the temple, talking about the nature around that, talking about the cultural activities, like I told you so many examples of cultural tourism. So all that packed together finally makes a World Heritage Volunteers program. This I would just like to close my first book on Guide to the Heritage of Hyderabad with 275 sites, and believe me, my 1.5-year-old child also worked in that book. She colored maps. She would just take the pencil and I want to do scribbling. Okay, go ahead, fine, happy. And then she also worked in the second book, Heritage of Hyderabad, From Children for Children. I went to the children mode because of my one child. And the second book, one local publisher came to me and I said, ma'am, we want to translate it in Telugu. Again, I asked for the finances. He said, ma'am, we are low on finances. Do you still want to go ahead with that? I said, no problem. It's anyways for children, no? It's good. One more product will be in the market. And the last one is Magnifying the Miniature. It's all about almost 50 miniature painting from different period. When I started the project, I thought miniature paintings are only brought by Mughals to India, and they were taught to us. But then it was the other way around. We had the miniature painting tradition from 1000 date. And then this book is about that, where we have the Buddhist art, we have Jaina art, we have the pre-Mughal tradition, we have Bhagavatam, and then we come to the Mughal period, where we have different schools sprouting up, you can say, or strengthening of different schools. You have Pahadi miniature, you have Rajasthani miniature, you have proper Mughal ateliers, and then we have the Southern Indian tradition, about which Supriya talked in the school about the Tanjore painting, and then you have the down south tradition. So thank you very much, and I say Jai Hind. Any question and answer?
This Golconda Palace, is it under the archaeological survey or whatever? Because I went there, it was not properly maintained and preserved. I don't know, I went there about 3-4 years back. Is it being taken care of?
Sir, I would like to make it clear here that Golconda on the map is different from what your understanding would be. What you have seen as a ticketed monument is with ASI, Archaeological Survey of India. What I have seen is not a ticketed monument. It is, I would say, at least 2 times bigger than what you have seen. That's the outer fort. So of course, outer fort is not being taken care of well, because some part is with the army. They will not allow you to touch it because it's of course under army. Some part is with the locals, so they would take it on their own. So maybe the part which you have seen is with the locals. And another part is called Naya Kila. Naya Kila is, of course, means new fort, which has a lot of architectural value and the natural value. And I would say that these sites are a mix of nature and culture together. So and another thing is, another misconception about Hyderabad heritage is that most of the work was done by Qutub Shahis, where we have a very strong layer of Kakatiyan period. Maybe I have some of my smaller, those handmade drawing books. In that I can show to you. Does it answer your question, sir?
The local people are not involved in maintaining it or preservation.
I think, sir, if you have any positive question, that would be very helpful.
That's right.
Yeah, locals are involved, of course, but I told you where the locals take control, that is not right. Yes, thank you. Yeah?
Ma'am, one question is, since you are mentioning the involvement of local communities and the people, the biggest challenge that I can understand so far is communication.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to simplify the message of heritage conservation and protection to the common public. So, apart from taking classes and educating people, which we can do it at individual and combined capacity, what other means do you think should be followed on a regular basis, ma'am, from an individual perspective?
I would say that the first thing you should do, keep your backyard and courtyard clean, and don't throw trash here and there. Segregate the waste, because that's what annoys any visitor. Even if finally I'm a domestic visitor, right? So if I go to my own backyard, I mean our own city, Hyderabad, Chennai, Kolkata, wherever, where I see that the waste is not being taken care of properly, it annoys us, right? So are we taking care of waste in our own house? Let's ask this question from ourselves. I am doing that. I can tell you this with honor. So if we take care of our own waste, that's a first step towards, they say, no, cleanliness is godliness, Swachhata Abhiyan. So we should first work on cleanliness. Let's not destroy our heritage site, but just because we have the trash and they have this place to dump things there. Thank you. Yeah?
I'd like to ask a question.
Yeah, please.
The work that you are doing with students is really fantastic.
Thank you.
We would like to learn from you how you go about doing that, to see if we can replicate that here. Do you prepare the students in advance about the kind of heritage places that they are going to, what they can expect there?
Sure.
And then you take them there, and the follow-on activity that you talked about.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about
Sure. So first, let's say you own a school, okay, in Hyderabad, and you call him, say, Madhu, can we have this program? First, I will ask, what's a month? When are you going to conduct it? So, can you see the events calendar here? International Day for Monuments and Sites, IDMS, which happens on, it happens on 18th April. World Museum Day, it happens on 18th May. World Heritage Week, 18th November to 25th November. So based on this date, for your convenience, I will ask, when are you going to do that? Okay. So like I gave you the example of metro station. World Water Day worked out for them. And the location also, it's a river site. So first I ask your location, and I try to see if I have a heritage site next to your location. Because I want to call it integrated sustainable cultural tourism. Integrated means involving everybody, all the sites. There is no site which is related to the faith because it's a heritage site. And of course, the idea of having boys and girls both, and idea of connecting it. Then I ask which grade your students are in. What are you teaching them right now? So fortunately, the morning school where we went to, they started with this, ma'am, can we have a question for cultural assimilation grade 7? I have already taught cultural assimilation for grade 6, 7 and 8 with different, you can say, units. Then I asked them, do you work with international curriculum? They say, yes. We have a junior class also. I said, then why don't you add 6, 7, 8 together? What will you do? I said, I've taught miniature painting. How are you planning to connect 3 batches? I said, because I can connect 3 levels of history together. So, I will tell you, because you're asking me, I have studied after my own 6th, 7th and 10th, 8th, after my child's study, I re-studied those chapters. I relearned it. And I pointed out those things which connect with our history lessons, which are with our museums. So you have miniature painting actually in grade 6. So they tell you miniature painting, and it is written that they were brought by Mughals. And I'm not saying they are wrong, but I'm just adding value to that. I mean, I'm nowhere to say that the books are wrong. But then by adding value, by giving a proof, with the help of this material, you can add value to your session, and you can call it unburdening the classroom. So, I repeat, first step is finding out the site where they want to do it, finding out the day when they want to do it, or the month, if you can connect with the UN calendar. And third is understanding their curriculum and their needs. And fourth is how much time they can afford. They say, ma'am, we don't have more than 40 minutes. Then I first tell them that can you make 40 and 40 together? At least make 1 hour class. So if you can miss 2 weeks, then you attach 1 class here. I also do international programs on internet. I mean through online classes. So I can teach in any part of the world similar things which I'm doing with you. Does this answer your question? Thank you.
Extension to Badri's question, how successful have you been in convincing school principals and teachers about the importance of heritage?
Of course, sir. I have been, because when they come to me, it means they know that such programs exist. It means that something is doable. And also the interest of the school. First, they must come forward. So there are occasions when I went to the school with 5 options, A, B, C, D, E. Then they'll first look at the budget. 100 rupees per person including breakfast. Sounds exciting. बच्चे बाहर भी चले जाएंगे. Let's hire a bus. School bus लेके we'll go. So that was the first choice. An international school or a well-paying school looks at the scholar who's coming to the school. They also end up saying, not because I'm speaking here, they say, the speaker who's come to the school is overqualified for these children. Let's do this. So I really feel that the interest of the school and budget, they both are equally important. Alone budget also doesn't run. If the school have a lot of money and they are not able to identify their own interest, what will they do then? Yeah. Does it answer your question, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
That was a wonderful and informative lecture and gives us a lot of ideas about activities which we can carry on in our own city based on this role model. I now request Kishore from THT to deliver the thank you note.
If he stands on the stool.
As we near the end of the program, we wanted to express our gratitude to a few people who have been instrumental in making this edition of THT Professor S. Swaminathan Heritage Award happen. First of all, we would like to thank all those who took the time to give the nomination, to send the nominations for this year's award. We had a number of nominations this year, and I think it is the nominations that really stand testimony to the strength of this award and gives us the encouragement and motivation to continue year on year. So thank you everyone to those who sent the nominations. We would also like to thank members of the jury that consisted of eminent scholars from various fields, Dr. Shivanagi Reddy, archaeologist and CEO of Bleach India Foundation, Professor Sudeepa Ray Bandopadhyay from the University of Calcutta, Dr. Pradeep Chakravarti, author and historian, and Mr. Ramesh Gauri Raghavan, epigraphist and director, India Studies Center, Mumbai, a School of Languages and Literature. Their attention to detail and meticulousness in this whole award selection process has been extremely valuable. So thank you to all the members of the jury. A big thanks to architect Madhu Vottery for her acceptance of the award and delivering today's award lecture, and I should also add for passing on some of that madness to us, the audience. So thank you, ma'am, so much. Special thanks to Sri Maniam Selvan, whose artwork has embellished the award not just this year but year after year. So Maniam Selvan sir, if you're watching this program, thank you so much once again. We offer our sincere gratitude to you. We would also like to thank VSS Iyer, who again this year has been instrumental in designing the award, designing the certificate and the award. So thank you, VSS. Thanks to Professor Swaminathan, whose artwork, whose guidance and vision continues to guide us and all the activities of Tamil Heritage Trust that we continue to do. Thank you, sir. To Ashwin Prabhu, who has organized this program and taken ownership of the whole award process from the whole end to end. Thank you so much, Ashwin, for doing a wonderful job and for organizing this year's edition of the THT Swaminathan Award. Thanks to all the THT volunteers who supported Ashwin. To those witnessed this program in person and to those who watch this online, thank you again. We will continue to meet in the next Tamil Heritage Trust program. Our next program is our monthly Heritage Lecture, which is happening next Saturday. You should get an email and social media notification of that same. It is a lecture on the life and work of the life and teachings of Gautama Buddha, and you will get a lecture of you will get a link to that lecture and the online link to that talk very soon. So thank you very much and have a good evening.